As the players are being introduced, the #1 ranked Washington Hornets, defending state champions, against the #2 ranked 26-1 Ardmore Tigers, the first of 4 state championships coming your way. Don King, J.B. Haney back with you at Gallagher-Iba Arena, the land of hope and dreams today. And part of our Cox Communications crew from the Oklahoma City area that's been doing the ball games on Friday nights. Here's Steve Marshall.
Thanks a lot. And talking with Coach Jason Turk, a couple keys for the contest. He felt like his team definitely had a rebound. Nobody in the starting lineup for Ardmore is as tall as the smallest starter for Tulsa, Washington. So definitely rebounding. Defense, he felt like there was a lot of good teams here in the tournament that were good offensively, but he felt like his Ardmore Tigers were better defensively. And of course, it got to have some pressure. And if they look to get a lot of their offense going through some of their defense, defensive pressure also a key. Those 3 keys for the Ardmore Tigers.
Hey, and I was talking to, thanks guys, I was talking to Coach Nate Harris. He goes, Matt, it's simple. The first thing we've got to do is we got to create the tempo. We want to make sure that we dictate how fast the pace of the game goes. And of course, that's going to key with Levi Harris and his matchup with Ryan Godwin, which of course J.B. Haney was talking about earlier. The second thing they're going to have to do, they're going to have to guard the 3-point line. Ardmore is a very good 3-point shooting thing. The third thing Coach Nate Harris said, we want to match them ball for ball. That means if they score, we score. Keep the pressure on them. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Matt Clark, former Oklahoma State standout. He still thinks this is his house. Now the question is, whose house will it be today? There are the Tigers. They are in their 5th state championship game. And let's take a look at their starting 5 for first-year head coach Jason Turk. We featured Godwin as the point guard. Lionel Brown has had some big games. Kemp and Deshaun Cohey will take care of things inside, as will DeJuan Swindle, their leading rebounder. He had 32, Swindle did, in the state tournament opening win over East Central. For the #1 ranked Booker T. Washington Hornets, Levi Harris, 20 points a game. Robert Meacham, maybe the best athlete since R.W. McQuarters, matriculated at Booker T. And J.C. Seals is a great 3-point shooter. When he's hot, they're hard to stop. And inside, Mark Brown has been electric in the state tournament. And Chad Evans, a junior, is very steady. Look at that. Only 1 senior starting for Booker T in the state championship game.
And we talked on about Coach Harris coming 20 consecutive years to the state tournament. When he returns 4 starters, where would you expect him to be next March? Right in the state finals again.
There's Jason Turk, who might be a familiar name. He was a walk-on here at Oklahoma State, grew up in Collinsville, and played his prep basketball in Stillwater. Was at Enid before coming to Ardmore. And in his first year, how about that? 26-1. Ardmore's in the state tournament, 12th time in the last 13 years. And Nate Harris, in 20 years, as JB pointed out, has been in the state tournament all 20 seasons. And he has 9 state championships to his credit. If he wins today, nobody will have more, right?
That's right. You know, he is tied right now with Burl Franklin at Millwood High School. Burl has 9, but they were eliminated in the state playoffs. So if Nate comes out victorious today, Don, he will stand alone and head basketball coach of the state of Oklahoma with 10 gold balls, and that is really a remarkable record.
And last season, with their overtime state championship win against Ada, that gave Booker T. Washington 12 state championships in basketball, and that eclipsed Tulsa Central, who had up to that point 11. Central was eliminated by Washington in the state semifinals. In fact, as you take a look at the 3 officials, there they are, and there is Kurt Schultz on the right, Calvin Prince in the middle, and to the far end goes Eugene Jackson. Booker T. Washington got here by hosting their own regionals. They beat Edison 83-46. They beat Bishop Kelly 83-49. Then in the area championship game at Jinx, they beat Claremore 69-52. They disposed of number 5 ranked Midwest City Carl Albert Thursday in the state tournament 64-51. And yesterday, as I mentioned, they beat the 10th ranked Tulsa Central Braves 69-57. Ardmore beat Noble and Hera to win the regional championship on on their home floor, beat 5th-ranked Midwest City Carl Albert for the area championship. And in the state tournament, they beat 11th-ranked East Central by 7. And 4th-ranked McAllister yesterday, after being down by 11 at halftime, they won it 53-47. Hornets have the ball, and we are underway. The first of 4 state championship games. And Meacham from way outside, no good. But Mark Brown gives Washington another chance. Rebounded by Deshaun Cohey, the 6'2 senior. And off to Lionel Brown. He and Godwin, number 10, will control things out front for the Tigers.
You know, one thing we can look for with the Ardmore Tigers, Don, is the fact that they play that real aggressive, good man-to-man defense. But once they get the ball down on half court, here you see a good replay, the aggressiveness of both teams, as they really will just absolutely fight after every loose ball. But once the Tigers get on the half-court defense, I look for them to really go back inside, kind of double-team the big guys and try to get position for the defensive boards.
Washington averaging 72 points a game. Ardmore 76 points a game. For 3 from Seals, no good. Harris with the offensive rebound and the follow by Seals, and we have our first points of the game with almost a minute gone.
And Levi Harris showing you that he will give the ball up as well as put it in the net.
Godwin for 3. Tip no good, and the rebound by Chad Evans, the inside player for Booker T.
Always an interesting story on Chad Evans. He was a point guard at one time, and he's still listed as a guard and a forward.
Ardmore on the run. It's run and gun to start. That ties the game. On the basket by Wallace Kemp.
Well, Wallace Kemp is a 46% shooter from the field, and he certainly has confidence in his shot.
Winning streaks on the line tonight. Washington undefeated, so they are 26-0 on the year. And Ardmore has won 22 in a row. And the rebound by Swindoll, their leading rebounder at 6 a game. Out to Godwin, their second leading scorer. Yes, he got the 3. Ardmore's got the lead.
Well, that's Ryan Godwin's forte, is to pull up and shoot that three-pointer and get right back into defense with Swindoll.
And now 7 straight for the Tigers. In a game like this, JB, game of runs.
It's a game of runs, and both these teams will have good runs in the course of the game.
Evans. Off to Seals in the corner, and he couldn't buy the 14-footer. Nice rebound again by Godwin. But that's where Washington makes their living, is forcing turnovers, and Mark Brown has it out front, finds the lane. Harris misses the follow. And Ardmore's Ryan Godwin comes away, and it's a 3-on-4-on-2 break. And Godwin throws it away.
Well, I think the pace of the game is very indicative of what we're seeing here early on, Don, because they are really going to get up and down the court.
Washington and Ardmore, and the Tigers' Jason Turk in his first year. Very composed, didn't you think?
Very composed, Don, and both these teams, they expected to be here. They've had great seasons, ranked number 1 and number 2 by both papers, so we got the best in 5A.
Washington, who shot lights out in the second half against Central, starts the game ice cold, and Evans commits the backcourt foul.
You'll pick this up with both teams. They have tremendously quick hands. Just a few minutes ago, right in front of the bench here, why we saw J.C. Seals tip the ball. When they put the ball on the floor, defensively, they've got to be so careful because both defenses are so quick.
You, having been in 2 state championship games yourself as a coach, how difficult was it to keep your players to play within themselves at the early going?
That's the most difficult part, is to really get them to play their normal game.
Washington, you would think, would have the advantage in that regard. That's 3.
Don, I think it's like playing in the World Series with the Final Four for a national championship on the collegiate level. You never get accustomed to it. It's always a new excitement each year.
Swindoll with the 3, and Ardmore with a stunning 10-2 start. Evans inside. Offensive foul. That's his second.
Chad Evans close up inside. We'll see him turn, and that's a good call by the official. Just wasn't enough room. And again, that's that sinking defense that we'll find Ardmore playing throughout the game. Pressure man-to-man full court, but once they get back to the half-court area, they'll be sinking in and trying to double team and pick up those charging fouls.
You saw 33, Quentin Chaney, a 6'8" sophomore, check in for Evans, who has 2 quick fouls. Tigers break the press. We're approaching the midway mark of the first quarter, and the Tigers leading 10-2 until that basket by Mark Brown. Doesn't matter what position you play for Nate Harris, you better run the floor and play some defense.
You have to run the floor and play some defense here, and this is a good body control. Look at the control. You see immediately Anderson getting in there trying to establish defensive position, but Brown was able to maneuver his body upstairs and not get the charging foul.
Godwin's open. Can't spin the 3 and out of bounds. Stays with Ardmore. Tigers' only loss this year was to Denton, Texas.
It's really going to be critical for both teams to do a good job of blocking out and picking up the long rebounds because they're not all bashful in shooting the three-point shot.
Like that right there from Kemp. Swiped though by Seals. JC off to Harris. He hasn't scored yet. Inside Chaney, who's been hot. Rebound Zelto Anderson, number 21 into the game. 6'2" sophomore for the Tigers.
Again, there's the long rebound, Don, that no box out, and Ardmore gets a second choice.
Godwin from 14 on the floater. Swindoll again.
Basket by number 32.
And he has 7 of their 12 points.
Tigers doing a great job on the boards, especially on the offensive board.
The Hornets have won 38 consecutive games dating back to last year. Three-pointer, bang. JC Seals, if he heats up, he really presents a big problem for Ardmore.
I think that's one of the greatest strengths that Nate Harris has is the fact that any one of his 8 or 9 players that he plays could get on to be the leading scorer.
Strong rebound, Chaney, who was a quarterback on the football team until they moved him to a receiver, and the Hornets took off in the playoffs. Seals again, and he has got his Hornet teammates within 3.
And there you see the importance of Levi Harris on the penetration and picking up Seals to his left, going in. Great assist.
Timeout, Jason Turk. Midway, actually 2.5 to go. First quarter, let's go over to Matt Clark.
We're listening to Coach Nate Harris, and he's just telling his guys, hey, guys, get back on defense, push the ball to the floor, let's play Booker T basketball. Back to you all.
All right, thank you very much. And there you can tell he's certainly accentuating that point right now.
Well, when you have a number 1 and number 2 team playing, the one thing you can't allow your team to fall into is from false security with getting a lead. A 10 or a 12-point lead in a game like this, Don, is nothing. And sometimes a team will get just a little false security there when they get a good lead and relax. And when that happens, the other team goes right by.
Let's go over to the other side and Steve Marshall. Steve?
Thanks a lot. Listening to head coach Jason Turk, he said offensively he wants his guys, they're dribbling too much. Look opposite. When you get the ball in the middle, look opposite, and defensively just tighten up.
And did they ever? Lionel Brown flashes in from the corner, gets the basket and the foul.
That's great movement in there. You see just a great pass in there by Anderson to Brown, cutting the baseline, picking up a foul, but also getting the 2-point shot down, spreading it out a little bit that time on the half court, giving them a lot more room.
Wouldn't go for Brown, who misses the free throw. So it's 14-9. Ardmore by 5. We approach the 2-minute mark of the opening quarter of the 5A Boys State Championship from OSU. Harris has been dogged the entire first quarter, and a defensive foul called on Godwin out front.
Levi Harris is just so strong. When he makes up his mind, he wants to penetrate. He can do it so well and without charging, and a lot of players don't have that ability.
Harris still hasn't scored. Tipped by Chaney. Traveling was the thought by the Ardmore fans. No call. Seals from way downtown for a second tray of the opening period. He's got 10 of the 11 or 10 of the 12 Washington points. Nice dude inside by Zelto Anderson, but it wouldn't go, and Ardmore gets it back.
Checking in for Booker T. Washington.
When you think of Booker T. Washington and Nate Harris, JV, 4 titles now since 95, actually 5 since 95. But yet, don't count out this Ardmore team. They've got tradition as well. They've been to the state tournament 12 of the last 13 seasons.
And Drew, and you look at their seniors, they've been to the state tournament the last 4 years in a row. So they are certainly tested in state tournament play, and there's no gimmies today.
Josh Berry, number 12, into the game, a defensive specialist out front for the Hornets. Meacham stripped of the ball. Here comes Ardmore. Nice move inside. Roy Roberts into the game, and the sophomore couldn't get it to fall, but he'll go to the line for a couple.
Some very good young players in the tournament here, and Roy Roberts certainly one of them. They're great balance, going up, got the foul, but was able to take a pretty good shot at it. A lot of times they won't get that kind of a chance.
Roberts only 34% from the free throw line. Interesting, that was the second foul on Cheney. He's in for Evans, who also has 2 personals.
Fouls can be important in a state playoff game.
So Ardmore not afraid to take it inside. Meacham and Harris, the 2 guards. Meacham has the ball. Neither one has scored yet in the game. And Harris is out of the contest as Meacham goes in with the left hand and gets the first point for him. And we're tied at 14.
Nice little change of pace dribble in there by Meacham, giving him the opportunity to get it on the glass.
Nice pass inside. And a foul's going to be called on Mark Brown, and that'll be his first and the team's 5th here in the opening period.
Washington trying to do a little half-court trap here out of the 1-2-2 and getting the floor spread real well, and you've got to credit Ardmore. They are really picking it, getting it to the open man.
Out front, Anderson. Guarded by Berry. Off to Godwin. 30 seconds remaining, first period. Ardmore at one time had an 8-point lead. We're tied now with 20 seconds to go. Lionel Brown out front.
A little matchup rotation there defensively by Coach Nate Harris.
Last time Ardmore won a state championship was 94. And we've got a foul out front, according to Calvin Prince, and he'll call this one on Josh Berry, number 12.
Number 12, Josh Berry, his first personal.
And that is already Washington's 6th team foul to close out the first quarter. Ardmore will be in the bonus in period number 2. Almost stolen by Mark Brown out front. They better hurry. And that is the end of the first period. Hornets of Tulsa presenting the 5A state championship. And after 1, it's the top-ranked Hornets and the second-ranked Ardmore Tigers tied at 14 on Cox.